Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So as you probably guessed from the title, in this video I am finally going to be reading Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. So this is the sequel to Ninth House. It's the second book in the Alex Stern series and this is one of my most anticipated books for 2023. So I'm excited to finally be getting to this. I did finish my reread of Ninth House literally a few hours ago. And I didn't enjoy this as much as I enjoyed it the first time around. I don't know whether it's because I listened to the audiobook and I didn't love the narration. It wasn't that the narration was bad, it was more that the voices didn't match what I pictured the characters to sound like in my mind. I also obviously knew the outcome of the mystery, and I think what I loved the most the first time I read this was the mystery. So a little disappointed that this didn't give me the 5-star feeling that it gave me the first time when I read it in 2021. However, there was a lot that I had forgotten as I was reading it. I kept thinking, oh my goodness, how did I forget that character and how did I forget that happened? So I'm glad that I did reread it because I had forgotten a lot more than I thought I'd forgotten. So I am going to be starting Hellbent this evening, hopefully. Actually, probably not this evening. I might start it tomorrow instead. But I literally don't know what this book is about. I mean, the end papers are gorgeous. Look at that. I do not like the front cover of this though. I think I've said this in a few videos. I hate the cover of this and I wasn't going to buy the physical copies, but I saw this on eBay, I think, for like £3 and I thought a hardback for £3, I need to get that, especially because I did really love this the first time that I read it. It was one of my favourite books of 2021. I feel like I'm rambling now, but yeah, I am going to make a start on Hellbent and I'll let you know once I'm, I don't know, around 50 or 100 pages into this. This video is going to be spoiler filled, so if you haven't read either Ninth House or Hellbent, then you're probably not going to want to watch this video. I mean, I don't know, you might want to watch it. Maybe you have no interest in reading either of these books, but yeah, I will catch up with you once I have some sort of reading update. So I am now around 60 pages into Hellbent and I thought I would update you on my thoughts and feelings so far, but I don't really have many thoughts yet. This has started pretty much exactly how I expected it to, based on the ending of the last book. Like, I expected this to be about Alex and Dawes trying to break Darlington out of hell. The first chapter was very intriguing though, because Alex seems to be locked in the basement of Darlington's old house with something, and we don't know what yet. I feel like it's leading us to believe that it's Darlington, but I feel like that's kind of obvious, you know? So very intrigued to see what that's all about. Obviously the timeline has now skipped back in time to about a month previously, where we're following Alex and Dawes trying to break Darlington out of hell. I am curious about whether we're going to get Darlington's perspective in this, because we got his point of view in Ninth House and I did like his point of view, so I would like to see him again in this book. So literally the next chapter that I read after I last updated you was Alex and Dawes finding Darlington in a bathtub, I think, in the ballroom. I think he was in a bathtub. Have I made that up? I'm questioning myself now. But I wasn't expecting them to find him that quickly, to be fair. Don't know how I feel about it because I do feel like the pacing in this has been a little off. I feel like some things are happening a lot quicker than I was expecting them to. Like, I wasn't expecting them to find Darlington until at least the halfway point. But yeah, he's given them these clues to find this gauntlet that's basically the gate to hell, and they need to free him because otherwise he could die. And he already seems quite dead, to be fair, seeing as how he's been transformed into this hellbeast type creature, I guess. I mean, he still seems like himself, but not quite. It also seems like there's some other mystery plot going on because 2 professors have been found dead, and it seems like something magical is going on. There was also this flashback to the summer when Alex went back to California and she met up with this drug dealer who I think is the cousin of one of the guys that she murdered in the first book. I don't really understand why Alex went back there. I don't feel like that was very logical. I feel like Alex is smarter than that, so it did feel like it was a little bit out of character. I don't know, maybe I am just being really nitpicky because I was so excited for this book, and don't get me wrong, I'm still enjoying it. I'm finding that I'm reading it quite quickly, and when I am reading it, I'm absorbed into the story. It's just that this has been a bit of a rocky start so far. I should say actually that the main reason why I wanted to make this vlog with spoilers is so that I can rewatch it in a few years when the next book comes out, and it hopefully means that I won't have to reread the series. I went to the Leigh Bardugo event in Birmingham a few weeks ago where she mentioned that she's currently writing another book that I think is a historical fiction set in Spain, if I'm remembering rightly, and then after she's finished that book, that's when she's going to move on to the next Alex Stern book. So yeah, it might be another few years before book 3 comes out, but hopefully by making this vlog I won't have to reread Hellbent, unless I really love it and I want to reread it, but that is the beauty of doing spoiler vlogs. So I am now around 200 pages into Hellbent, and I think I've reached a point where I need to accept that I'm just not enjoying this book, and I'm so upset about it because this was one of my most anticipated books for 2023. I even reread Ninth House because I wanted to go into this with a fresh mind, or with it fresh on my mind, but yeah, I'm just not enjoying this. I think that the writing feels quite lazy, and there's been some plot conveniences that just haven't sat right with me. For example, Mercy, Alex's friend. In the first book, she didn't have a clue what was going on with Alex, which made sense, to be fair. It made sense that Alex didn't feel comfortable opening up to her roommates. However, it felt like Leigh Bardugo realised that she needed Mercy to be a bigger part of this book, so she had Alex sit down and explain everything to Mercy, and it happened within like a paragraph. We didn't get to see Mercy's reaction, and it just felt really jarring. It felt so lazy the way that that was done. I think if Mercy needed to find out what was going on, it should have happened in the first book. I also don't think that Alex would actually start working for that drug dealer guy. It feels really out of character considering what happened in the first book, and I think if she actually thought that her mom was at risk, then she would have found some other way to deal with that situation. It just, yeah, it felt very out of character to me. And also there's vampires now, like really? Why? Like again, that just felt like it came out of nowhere. We've also met the new head of Lethe, and he is an asshole. He's openly misogynistic, and I don't like that. I think I prefer my villains to feel a bit more subtle rather than outwardly awful. Alex thinks that he could be a suspect in the murders, but I mean, we all know that he's not actually going to be responsible. Like, that's too obvious. So yeah, I'm not quite at the halfway point. Like I said, I'm around 200 pages in, but this is not going the way that I wanted it to go, and I am really upset about it. I'm hoping that things pick up in the second half, because Leigh Bardugo, actually, to be fair, she does tend to put really good twists into her books, so I still have hope that I'm going to enjoy the second half, even though I haven't really enjoyed this first half. So it's now a few hours later and I've read another 100 pages of Hellbent. My plan is to try and finish this evening because I just want it done now. I've got about 150 pages left. I think I'm on page 290, so I'm at the part where they've just escaped from hell. I was actually starting to get a little bit excited because I thought that this was going to go in a really interesting direction. I think what I was expecting was for them to go to hell and have to unlock all of these different puzzles, you know, because it's been heavily hinted that demons like puzzles and riddles, so I thought we were going to get some trials or something like that. Instead, that whole trip to hell just felt completely pointless, and I don't even understand why Trip went with them. Like, I don't even really remember who he is. I think he was a character in Ninth House, but yeah, he clearly wasn't very important or I would have remembered him. Nothing feels logical at the moment. Stuff keeps being mentioned and it just feels very random and like there's no basis for the characters thinking the way that they're thinking, and their actions to me just aren't making sense, and yeah, very, very frustrating. I do have a theory though. I reckon the two dead bodies in the basement from the first chapter are Darlington's parents. Possibly, because otherwise why would they have randomly made an appearance earlier? So that's the theory that I'm working with. I don't know who the murderer is in terms of who's killing the professors on campus, so hopefully that'll be a surprise. And also, I'm just checking my notes, something else that I wrote down was what's happened to all of the secret societies, because that was something that I really liked about the first book, but they seem to have all just become irrelevant and everything just feels irrelevant right now. I'm gonna try not to rant anymore, but yeah, I think I'm gonna settle down and finish this tonight. Hopefully I can update you with my final thoughts tomorrow. So I didn't end up finishing Hellbent last night. Instead, I fell asleep really early and then I woke up feeling really disorientated. So I didn't end up finishing this. I've got about 100 pages left. I'm at the end of part 1, but I'm gonna try and finish this now on my lunch break. I do need to go for a walk and then I've got some chores and stuff to do, and then I'm going to attempt to read around 30 pages of this and then finish it this evening because I am starting a new reading vlog today. Still feeling a bit indifferent towards this. I do like that it's gone in a direction that I wasn't expecting, with the whole demons trying to take over their personalities, not personalities, they're trying to imitate the main characters and take over their identities. So I like that. I still don't understand why vampires needed to be a thing. Like, why vampires in particular? Why couldn't they have just been regular demons? I mean, I know that vampires are a kind of demon, but still, it just felt very random. It also seems like Darlington has maybe betrayed them because it's been implied that Darlington isn't really the same Darlington that he was in the first book, because obviously he's been in hell and he's been changed into this demon. So I kind of like that, maybe. I like the idea of Darlington now being a bad guy because I do like a complicated bad guy, you know? I don't know what I'm going to end up rating this because at the moment it's somewhere between a 2 and a 3 stars. I don't think I hate it as much as I hated King of Scars. I think that's still my least favourite Leigh Bardugo book so far, but also I'm not loving this as much as I wanted to. Ninth House was a 5 stars, so I was expecting this to be at least a 4 stars, but at the moment it's going to be lucky to get 3 stars. I may have lost enthusiasm for this book, but I want to try and keep up the enthusiasm for this vlog. I want to try and explain why this didn't work for me, because I have now finished Hellbent and I'm giving it 2 stars. I think it came out as a 2.5 in core pile, but I didn't like this. I think it's been quite obvious from this vlog that this wasn't what I wanted it to be. All of the things that I liked about Ninth House weren't in this book. So what I loved about Ninth House was how it felt like a murder mystery, but with magic. And that's not what Hellbent is. This is an urban fantasy. And yes, you could argue that Ninth House is also urban fantasy, but I felt like it was a murder mystery first. And the mystery in this was really weak, and I didn't think that the resolution was very well executed. I felt like it was all very anticlimactic. There wasn't really any foreshadowing, and it bothered me how the characters never really stopped to process their feelings, and that's what I wanted. I wanted emotion, but there was just none of that, really. I think I said earlier in the vlog, I guessed that the Greys in the basement were Darlington's parents, and I felt quite proud of myself for working that out, but generally speaking, none of the twists surprised me. Like, I didn't work out the Anselm, or whatever his name is. I didn't work out that he was the bad guy overall, but also it didn't really shock me. Like, it didn't surprise me. I felt like it was quite an obvious thing to be revealed. Generally, everything just felt like it was wrapped up too quickly, and I feel like there was a real opportunity to have some great character development with this. I know or I could tell that Leigh Bardugo was trying to create a found family, but it just didn't work for me because the characters never really spent any time actually interacting with each other. This was too plot heavy, and I think that if it hadn't focused so much on the plot and we'd actually had some slower moments, then maybe this would have worked for me. But as it stands, I'm giving it, yeah, like a 2 stars. 2.5 if you want to be really specific, but I'm really stuck now. I don't know whether I actually even want to continue this series. I think there's only going to be 1 more book, so depending on when that comes out, maybe I'll give it a go. I think that's everything that I wanted to say to round off the vlog, so thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I'm really sorry that this vlog hasn't been more positive, but I genuinely went into Hellbent expecting to like it. And I hate that I didn't. I'm really upset, but yeah, what can you do? What can you do in this situation? Like, I didn't expect one of my most anticipated books for 2023 to be one of my most disappointing. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you did make it this far, let me know in the comments if you've read Hellbent. I'm assuming if you're watching this vlog, then you have read it, but let me know what you thought of it and if you agree with anything that I've said. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and click subscribe if you would like to see more videos from me. But otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye.